Welcome to Sinister Motives, the channel that examines history's most notorious murder cases. Be sure to hit that subscribe button as we drop videos every week. And make sure to hit the notification bell to stay up to date with the latest stories. Now let's jump right in.
This show features real crime scene photos and actual participants. Illustrational stock footage is also used for narrational purposes. This video contains sensitive content and may not be suitable for children. Viewer discretion is advised. In 1995, Lois Heather Mack was born to jazz musician James Mack and his wife Sheila Mack. In 2001, on a cruise ship, James suffered a foot injury that rendered him partially paralyzed due to inadequate treatment. Then again in the year 2006, during a vacation to Greece, the Macks were struck with tragedy. James died from a pulmonary embolism. Associating sad memories with vacations, Heather grew up in Oak Park, Illinois, and met her boyfriend Tommy Schaefer in 2010 in River Forest High School. Growing up privileged could make certain people bossy. But Heather was beyond bossy. Sheila knew something was very wrong with her daughter. Heather would go crazy during arguments with her mother. By 2010, during a fight, a 15-year-old Heather punched her mother's broken ankle, causing her mother to retreat. She would bite her, hit her, and on one occasion, Heather even broke her mother's arm and then pulled the phone cord out of the wall so she couldn't call 911. Things only worsened as she kept threatening to kill her mother, then kill everyone she hated and commit suicide. Sheila feared for her daughter's mental health but could not do much, as Heather was in complete denial of her mental condition. But the same could be said for Sheila. She did not believe her daughter needed an intervention. In November 2012, police responded to a call at the Mack residence, where Heather had bitten her mother hard enough to leave a large bruise. Unfortunately, Sheila refused to get it photographed by the police, fearing it would go on her daughter's record. Sheila did not approve of Heather's relationship with Tommy Schaefer, who was unemployed and wanted to pursue rapping as a career. She firmly believed he would take money from her and possibly be a bad influence on her daughter. Heather had also stolen $1,000 from her mother, blaming it on Tommy. It is unclear whether he was involved or not. Between January 2004 to June 2013, police reported to the Mack residence almost 86 times, all over domestic issues between Heather and Sheila. After Heather's graduation, in 2014, Sheila moved to Gold Coast, Chicago, hoping for a fresh start with her daughter. But perhaps, Sheila wasn't the only victim in the relationship. Heather's lawyers would later report, Sheila forced Heather to undergo 2 abortions. In fact, Sheila was waiting for Heather's blood work to indicate pregnancy. She was looking to get power of attorney over Heather so she could enforce the 3rd abortion. Things were stressed, and Sheila felt she and Heather could do with a little mother-daughter bonding trip. She would tell her friend Elliot that she hoped it would bring the two closer, as she would get away from all the chaos in their lives. Perhaps it would remind them of simpler times, when it was just the two of them. Sheila booked an expensive trip to Bali in August 2014. The two flew first class and stayed at the St. Regis Hotel in Nusa Dua. What Sheila did not know was, behind her back, Heather was plotting something terrible with Tommy. Heather had wanted to get rid of her mother for good, intending to kill her. However, since Tommy had let it slip to his cousin, she appeared remorseful and ashamed of what she had said. Yet, in another series of texts and Facebook messages, Tommy spoke to his cousin Bibbs that Heather wanted to pay someone to kill Sheila so she wouldn't get her hands dirty. The discussions go on and off Facebook, and Heather appears to encourage Tommy to pack his bags for good since this time they would be getting a lot of money. Heather had a trust fund set up for her, which would pay off $1.5 million once her mother signed off on it, receiving 30% of the fund. The only problem? Sheila felt her daughter was incapable of handling all that money and would blow it all off on Tommy. Heather offered Tommy $50,000 to kill her mother. Sheila, oblivious to this fiasco, arrived with her daughter in Bali a little after midnight. While the two had flown first class, Heather had booked a business class flight for her boyfriend. That night, August 11, 2014, Sheila saw the details of the rooms. She wondered who the second room was for and was shown a copy of Tommy's passport. Visibly upset, she questioned her daughter, who insisted he was in Bali to study. Obviously, Heather was a pretty bad liar and came up with something unbelievable. A high school dropout in Bali to study? Tommy and Heather met at the beach. Heather would testify that she was pregnant and the two were discussing how to break the news to her mom. This testimony contradicted the fact that Sheila had already ordered a blood test and taken legal action into getting her an abortion, so she already knew. Sheila emailed her friend Elliot, worried about why Heather was missing. She had previously told Elliot about Heather's threats and was afraid of her daughter's mental state. After her return to the room, Heather kept texting Tommy. Then around 8 a.m., asked him to come to her room and bring something heavy. If Tommy is to be believed, he thought she was in trouble and got a glass fruit basket to defend her. The couple said Sheila was enraged and called Tommy racial slurs while brandishing a knife, attacking her daughter. Now this is highly contradictory to witness statements, since in all the 86 instances of police reports, Heather had injured her mother, and people who knew the mother instantly claimed this was not something Sheila would do. She never even pressed charges against her daughter when she broke her arm. A series of text messages between Heather and Tommy revealed their evil plan. The two intended to kill Sheila. Heather had attempted to cause her mother to overdose on sleeping pills. When sedatives didn't work, the two switched to Plan B, as Tommy told his cousin Bibbs. The 21-year-old Tommy Schaefer beat the 62-year-old woman to death. The couple hastily stuffed Sheila's body into a suitcase and duct taped it to ensure it wouldn't open, attempting to leave the resort with her body. Surveillance footage shows the two rushing between the lobby and their rooms, finding duct tape, and finally attempting to leave around noon the next day, August 12. The hotel manager stopped to talk to them about their bill when she noticed a large suitcase wrapped in a blanket, dripping blood. Heather covered it up by saying it was makeup. After loading their luggage in a cab, the two fled the resort. A guard advised the driver to go to a police station, and the couple was subsequently arrested at a nearby motel. The two tried to claim they had all been attacked by robbers and that they tried to flee, but the evidence against them was solid enough to put them behind bars. Tommy Schaefer confessed to the murder. Heather went on to give birth while in prison awaiting trial. Heather Mack was sentenced to 10 years in prison, and Tommy Schaefer to 18 years in April 2015. Judges were lenient to Heather because she had just given birth to a baby. Heather's jail time was highly controversial, with videos of her dancing and smoking in jail and playing surfaced on social media. She seemed to be enjoying her life instead of paying for manslaughter. She received an early release in October 2021 and was deported from Indonesia. Her daughter Stella was placed with a foster family, and Heather filed a suit to gain full custody of her daughter, now 8 years old. Tommy and Heather broke up while in prison. Her federal trial begins in July 2023. Will the heiress finally face the consequences of taking an innocent life? We will only know after the trial. One thing is certain: Sheila von Weiss Mack was killed in cold blood, and any self-defense claims are incredibly fake. The important message in this week's story is to keep an eye out for people with entitled personalities, because even a mother-daughter relationship can be marred by sinister motives.
I don't regret killing my mother, and as evil as that may sound, that's my reality.